So an organization in South Carolina organized an event to celebrate Juneteenth. And that's the good news. Let's start positively. But when they advertised for this event, they created this flyer. They had banners in the town on the lamppost of this white couple. So I'm trying to understand the connection. Don't get me wrong, I'm not in advertising. Maybe I'm missing it. But Juneteenth is a federal holiday that acknowledges the day when many enslaved Africans in Galveston, Texas, learned that they were free, right? June 19th, 1865. Because, back then, it wasn't like someone could pick up the cell phone talking about, oh, girl, that was in another place. Like, girl, we're free. So, it took a while. It took years for some people to learn that they were indeed had been freed. So that's June 19th. So, knowing this story, I need for somebody to help me understand what the white couple represents, why they felt that was the right thing to do. What the organizers said is they came out with a statement. I want to make sure I read it, that they wanted the celebration to be inclusive for everyone, and that all groups are welcome in this effort to unify a divided community. So let's start with positive. I think it's absolutely fine and wonderful that they invited everybody because we all can commemorate our history. Unfortunately, let me just tell you this, them hot dogs you're selling at the place, or I'm sure you'll have like a choir singing or whatever you got going on, that's not going to quite, be unifying. Okay, that's not we wish it were that easy, fixing the divide. It's gonna take a little bit more than the tug of war games you may play or anything, the band you may hire. It ain't gonna do that, right? That's called performative activism, but it is nice to vent, to commemorate it. But let's don't get, you got kind of too big, too come on, chill out, all right? But also talking about wanting it to be inclusive. This is what's interesting about a lot of diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. People want to do DEI from a place of not looking at real life-ish, looking at history. DEI came about, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and the efforts that surround it and things like that came about to fix a problem, right? So if I say that, so if we're trying to include others or create diversity, it's because at one time the majority of jobs and events and neighborhoods and private schools and things that you saw had majority white people or majority men, right? And so we had to create some sort of idea of diversity and why it's great and inclusion to bring and to fix that problem, because we weren't invited. We weren't welcome once we were invited. It was an issue. So the white people that have always been invited to everything, always had access to whatever they wanted and still mainly do, we don't have to make an effort to make them feel included. So you can have a Juneteenth event that is completely connected to Black people and actually allow Black people to be on the advertisement. It is okay to sometimes not run everything, to not always be centered. White people the fact that white people are centered in a Juneteenth ad is deep. It just shows what happens in the brains of people. Got some work to do, y'all. We got some work to do.